Welcome to this MyMCMedia special report, the search for Sarah and Jacob Hoggle. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sonia Burke. The disappearance of 3-year-old Sarah and her 2-year-old brother Jacob has gripped Montgomery County. Hundreds of residents have taken part in local searches, posted flyers, and prayed for the safe return of these 2 young children. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to take a closer look at this case. We'll talk to the lead detective and the children's father, who desperately just wants his children back. Since Sarah and Jacob were first reported missing, Montgomery County police search teams have scoured over 20,000 acres in Montgomery County looking for them. Police have also asked residents in the Up County to search their own private property lines for signs of the children. So far, police say there's been no sign of them. MyMCMedia's Krista Brick joins us from police headquarters with more. Krista?
I'm at the public safety headquarters where police have been working non-stop to try to find these kids. It's a heartbreaking story with a mother in jail and her 2 toddlers still missing.
We keep a ray of hope that Sarah and Jacob are still out there and can be reunited with their family. But what I will tell you at this point, what we are doing is we're transitioning our operations as investigators.
The nightmare for this family started on September 7th when Catherine Hoggle told her parents she took 2-year-old Jacob out for pizza and returned without him. She said she left him at a friend's house for a sleepover. The next day, she told their father she dropped both Sarah and Jacob at a new daycare in the area, but couldn't remember anything about it. That's when Turner got worried, and Catherine and he headed to the police station to report the children missing. The 2 stopped at a Chick-fil-A restaurant along the way, and Catherine Hoggle disappeared. Worried for his daughter and his grandchildren, Randy Hoggle begged her to come home.
Everyone here is committed to, if you just come and get help, we'll all help you. And for that, I just want to say, please come home. We miss you, and we miss the kids.
Hoggle was spotted by a citizen 4 days later in Germantown, described by police as having dirt under her fingernails, 2 missing persons posters about her kids, and a shorter haircut.
Major crimes investigators interviewed her for 15 hours. I will tell you, some of the best investigators on this department went in to talk with her, and our first and pretty much only question was, where are Jacob and where are Sarah?
Court documents outline several tales Catherine Hoggle told, at one point saying she dropped them with a friend in Bethesda, and at other times saying she left them at a Germantown park. But just what happened to those 2 small children is still unanswered, and the search continues. Hoggle was arrested September 12th in connection with their disappearance and won't tell anyone where they are. Scores of search teams scour wooded areas from Clarksburg to Germantown, looking for any signs of the missing children. Friends passed out flyers, others flew search missions by air. So far, they've come up empty.
As part of that report, Krista was able to get exclusive access to the lead detective working this case. And that interview was so interesting, we wanted to give you an extended look. She started by asking Captain Darren Frank for the latest on the case.
Right now, we still have our managed search operation teams out looking at more refined areas. We've done a few peer reviews of our search operation, and they've all come back saying that we were right on target for where we should be looking. So now we're just going to go back and slowly go over a few areas that we believe have a higher probability. You also have Troy and volunteers searching other areas that they've been working with us, talking to us about things that they can do. So we've pointed them in a couple directions on areas they could search. Investigatively, we still continue the homicide investigation, collecting evidence, whether it be from the family or from people that had interaction with Catherine. And then also the other piece of it is running down any leads if someone believes they see Sarah or Jacob at any point. My investigators or patrol officers will immediately respond, or if it's an old sighting, they'll try and determine if it's a good sighting or not. It's she liked to be in park areas. The urban areas, if you're trying to hide something, if you're trying to hide a crime, our experience is you wouldn't go into a residence or a commercial property. So these are the highest probability for us. especially considering she's not giving us anything to go on as far as where the kids are located, and around schools and churches. Big open areas that people aren't normally in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the Amber Alert's difficult. At the time that we were making decisions, there was no vehicle involved, and the Amber Alert system is really a highway system to get the word out, to look for a vehicle and the missing persons. So you never want to overuse a resource like that so that it just becomes noise in the background. You always want it to be effective. So in working with the state, it's not something that would have met the criteria for putting out an Amber Alert because, again, there was no vehicle and we knew that Catherine was involved. The other part of it is there are parental abductions all of the time across the United States. And at the time that we made these decisions, we felt we had better avenues than using that resource. So the photos were originally put out when we started the investigation. Now, as we're going through and we're still trying to find Jacob and Sarah and have any clue as to where specifically Catherine was, we know the general vicinity. What we want is to the public and business owners to look at their surveillance cameras and see if they might see the vehicle or see Catherine, Jacob, Sarah, so that we can focus in even more on where to look for them. It's, again, a lot of area, 20,000, 30,000 acres, even more square miles that we have to look for her. The cars become important to fill in the gap, so we just want their help. We've collected a lot of video already. Now we're trying to do everything possible. I'm convinced they're not with someone. As far as an actual location, we won't know until we find them. There's probabilities that would indicate in a wooded area or a more secluded area. No, we don't believe so. The story that she gave us, we confronted her that's not factual, and eventually she changed her story to leaving them in a location. And there are certain things that her lawyers would have to report to us if the kids were anywhere other than where they should be, which is with Troy at this time. And they don't have that information for us.
You can watch Krista's entire interview with Captain Frank on the MyMCMedia website. There's no one who wants to find Sarah and Jacob more than their father, Troy Turner. He was in the courtroom for Catherine Hoggle's first court appearance, and afterward he addressed reporters outside the courthouse.
And anyone who knows anything, please just call the police, call 9 emergency numbers if you have a tip. Call 911 if you see the kids. If you or someone out there who has the kids or know someone who's helping them, drop them off at a hospital, a library, a fire department, anything. I don't care who you are. I don't want to know who you are. Just drop them off, give me my kids back, and everything's cool.
That was Troy Turner several weeks ago. I recently sat down with Mr. Turner for an exclusive interview at our station. I asked him how he's doing and what he wants people watching this report to do to help him find Sarah and Jacob.
Just be vigilant. When you see these flyers, look at the kids' faces, not necessarily hair color and things like that, because all that can be changed. So look at facial features, their eyes, their noses, their smiles, things like that aren't going to change. Jacob and Sarah, I mean, they're amazing. Their personalities are huge, both of them in completely different ways. Jacob's constantly smiling and happy. They both love to play at the park, sliding, swings. Sarah, I call her my tomboy princess. I mean, she's probably the roughest one out of all my kids. I have a picture of her on my cell phone. Like what I think it would have been probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And she's 3 doing pull-ups at the park. If she was a boy, she'd probably grow up to be a linebacker. But yeah, I mean, they're incredible kids, and they need to come home. I believe they're still in this area personally, from what I've seen and what I've heard. One of the reasons is Catherine continuously returned to Germantown. Not just Germantown, but the same area of Germantown where she got caught. She was predictably there. A good friend of mine and myself, we were driving by there looking for her right around the same time. Whenever I talked to her, she told me she saw us drive by. That's when she jumped back into the breezeway. That's when the guy who called the police saw her the first time. And when she saw us drive back by, she was ducking into a little cubby in there to try to duck back. So he recognized her. He went and looked at the flyer we had put up over his mailbox, came back to make sure it was her, had his girlfriend call the police, and then he sat out there, you know, in case she walked off somewhere so he could tell the police where she had went. She was there to a point of predictability, is the point. So if she had done something terrible to him, then why wouldn't she have just been gone? Because she could have been. I believe my kids are alive 100%. And as their father, my job now is to believe in my children, believe in myself, and go get them. So the police are doing their job, I'm doing mine. And a big part of that is, you know, we were talking about the illness or fabricating things and stuff like that. No matter how bad it got, she never, ever showed signs of being willing to hurt the kids. So there's no doubt in my mind. A lot of times people ask me, you know, well, how are you still standing? How are you doing this? Because my kids are out there. I believe it 100%. It's not a hope, it's a belief. You know, I mean, there's definitely times where I miss them so badly, I just want to curl up into a ball, but I can't do that because that's not what my kids need. My kids need me to be exactly who and what I am, what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis until I bring them home.
You can watch more of our exclusive interview with Mr. Turner on the MyMCMedia website. Local leaders are also following the search for Sarah and Jacob Hoggle. I recently asked County Council President Craig Rice for his thoughts on this case.
I'm still extremely troubled by the fact that we haven't been able to get any information from the mother. It's very frustrating, and I have received a number of emails from family members and community members that are very concerned about the process. Let me just say this very publicly, that I do believe that our 5th District and our Commander Gillespie, has done a fantastic job making sure that we're following all leads that are presented to the department and making sure that we can continue to try and cover all leads and investigate all areas. You know that both the community and the police were out in force this weekend. I actually ran into a couple members when I was in Gaithersburg at the Kentlands that were passing out flyers, had a chance to talk to some of those community members that were extremely passionate and trying to figure out. And I think that one of the breaks is going to be when we have a person who's seen her. And so I encourage people to look at her photograph and kind of think back if they've seen her at particular locations. That's going to be, I think, the biggest help when we can track her steps and her whereabouts leading up to this. That's what's going to help us when it comes to locating the children.
Social media is playing a part of the search for Sarah and Jacob, and police and family members continue to ask for tips. We're going to go back to the police department now, where Krista Brick is going to run down some ways you can help police with this investigation.
The message from police is for anyone to call with information that might help them with this case. Investigators are looking into every lead to help bring this family closure. Family, friends, and police have been spreading the word about the search for the missing toddlers on social media. The Facebook page, Find Jacob and Sarah, has more than 2,000 likes since it was created September 11th. The page is filled with offers of help and of prayer. There's a website, FindSarahFindJacob.com, where you can get details on how you can help. And on Twitter, hashtag FindJacobandSarah has hundreds of posts from media coverage to photos of the children. Business owners are being asked to review their surveillance tapes from September 7th for any sign of Hoggle or her 2 children. If you have information on either of 2 cars Catherine Hoggle was seen driving, a gray Nissan Rogue with Maryland plates 3AX8778, or a blue-gray 2004 Chrysler Town & Country minivan with license plate 48598EC, or any other information that might help in the search, you are asked to call the tip line at 240-773-5070, or police non-emergency line at 301-279-8000. If you think you've spotted the children, call 911. Police believe it's a tip from the community that might lead them to the answers the family is so desperately seeking.
That concludes our special report. We're going to leave you now with some more images of Sarah and Jacob. You can follow our latest coverage of this case online at mymcmedia.org. I'm Sonia Burke. Thank you for watching.